Good morning and welcome to Center for Spiritual Living Palm Desert. We are so grateful that you have chosen to join us today. We have a fantastic service for you, lots of inspiration, wisdom, and love and joy. So sit back, relax, and enjoy our service.
Monday, Dr. Joe continues with his class, Working with the Law. He begins at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and this week, The Law of Increase. If you're ready for more, tune in Monday with Dr. Joe. Tuesday, Reverend Dale invites a guest on we all know, but due to COVID, may not have seen her for a while, Audrey Collier. She will be discussing many things spiritually and physically as she stretches us in a new direction. Reverend Dale kicks it all off at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Wednesday, March 10th, we know and love him as the man who turns the fans on when Dr. Joe gets too hot or fixes a slide when it may appear out of order. But now we know him as Reverend William, and his topic on Wednesday is titled Curveball and How to Still Hit a Home Run in Life Even When It Throws You a Curve. So buckle up and tune in Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We've talked about 50 Shades of Grief. How do you deal with grief of losing a child? Join Dr. Laura as she talks with Vicki Ruff, a practitioner at Center for Spiritual Living Palm Desert, who leads the group Helping Parents Heal, and two mothers who have lost a child. Join them as they share their journey, beginning at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time Thursday on The Higher View with Dr. Laura. Friday, we have a surprise show you will not want to miss. Mark your calendars, 10 a.m. March 12th, CSL Palm Desert, Daily Live. Saturday, experience the voice of one of our staff ministers as they gently invite you on a 30-minute meditative journey with a guided meditation, beginning Saturday at 10 a.m. This is an on-demand program, and you may access it throughout the day. Other activities this week, March the 10th at 4 p.m., this is the annual congregational meeting. It will be virtual and a few spots remain. Please call the center at 760-346-4649 and reserve your spot today as Dr. Joe brings us up to speed on the center. Wednesday mornings, Reverend Gail continues her Power of 8 small groups, making significant impact into the lives of those joining her. Click the banner on the homepage and be part of these powerful Power of 8 circles, beginning at 8 a.m. on Wednesdays. Thursday, Reverend Cheryl and Reverend William host a group virtual social gathering called the Social Eights, beginning at 5 p.m. Find the strength, the energy, and the support through social interaction, virtually beginning at 5 p.m. Thursday. All of these and more are available and can be seen on the website by just clicking the banners for more information.
Good morning. Now it's time for our mission statement. We are a dynamic, open, positive faith community that accepts all religions. Our mission is to awaken you to your divine nature, empowering you to create the life of your dreams. We are changing lives, one heart at a time. Oh, wasn't that wonderful? And now it's time to relax, to settle into that space of knowing, allowing us to just embody what life is. So at this time, I invite you to relax as we head into meditation.
Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Everything I've ever done and everything I've ever seen, everything I've lost or won, and everything I've ever dreamed has brought me here this present moment here, to this new beginning here, and I'm seeing life so clearly now. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul.
And now, this is what I know, that there is just one life. That life is God's life. It is the embodiment of the expression of the one self. And I recognize my unity with that one source. And I know that my life is the expression of spirit. My life is the fulfillment of that one life, that one love. My life is purposeful. I love, cherish every expression of the divine spirit. I allow that love to guide me, to lead my thoughts, always with the focus of love. And as I live my life from that standpoint, I know that that love radiates out to others and allows that divine light to express itself, to recognize that we are all just one thing happening, and that is the expression of spirit in action. And so now I give great thanks, knowing the truth, the divine truth of life. And I live from that divine life. With gratitude in my heart, I now release my word as law, as we all say together, and so it is.
Show me the way. Show me the way. Your love will light my way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Your joy will light my way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Your peace will light my way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Show me the way. Your truth will light my way. And your love will light my way. And your joy will light light my way, and your truth will light my way. Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om. Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om Shanti Om. When my hands were emptied, when my hope was gone, couldn't help but wonder, what had I done wrong? But even though my heart was broken, there was no need to despair, 'cause a vessel must be open to put something better there. Oh yeah. Into my empty hands, gently you pour new life for me. Yours is a perfect plan. The ups and the downs were meant to be. Now I understand you needed my empty hands. So forgive me when I doubt it. I admit sometimes I do. Or consider giving up 'cause I cannot see the truth. I know I'll never go without it. Your deep and abiding love, oh love, into my empty hands, gently you pour new life for me. Yours is a perfect plan. The ups and the downs were meant to be. Now I understand you needed my empty hands. I understand you needed my empty hands. So thank you for thank you for thank you for my empty hands.
This is where you get to step into your power. You get to practice spirituality. This is the time for the offertory. And what we know is that when we want to receive, we must give. And so we've been giving to you all week long. And now is your opportunity to step into that power to make the universe work in the reciprocity of giving and receiving. Because what we know from a spiritual practice is when you hold on out of fear, then you close off that flow. So there are many ways here for you to give. You can press one of those buttons. You can always call the center. You can text. Multiple ways of doing it. But let that prosperity flow to you in a state of gratitude. So as you get ready to give, let us just I'm going to bless this giving and bless you and bless everyone. So this is what I know. I know that spirit flows through each and every one of us. And so as we give from a place of gratitude, from that consciousness of abundance, the universe says yes and brings back to us pressed down and overflowing. So I know that with each giving, each penny, each dollar, each $100 that is going out into the universe, coming here to this center, we are touching lives. We are changing lives one heart at a time. You are changing lives one heart at a time through your giving. Thank you so much.
So good morning once again. Someone once said to me, "Why can't you be more like my dog?" I'm like, what does that mean? It's like, my dog, they're so faithful. They love you unconditionally. And see, I'm actually a dog person. I have 3 of them actually, and before that we had 2 more. And I do love dogs. And I do love the fact that when you walk in the door, they wag their tail and they're all excited to see you. And you're a good person and you make them feel good and they make you feel good. And they're always like there to just cuddle up next to you and support you. So why can't we be more like a dog? Why can't we be the person who gets excited when someone else comes into the room? Why can't we love them unconditionally and cuddle the people that we really want to cuddle and that need cuddling actually? So think about that. Dogs are dogs, and what I love about the science of mind is that dogs are dogs and cats are cats. You can't make a dog be a cat or a cat be a horse. It is what it is. So in life, and the same thing happens in our life, dogs are dogs and you can't create a cat to be a dog, and you can't create a horse to be a cat. Things in life, they are what they are. So one just has to deal with what is and not worry about trying to transform or change someone else into something that they're not. Understand that? Sometimes we have to just look at a situation and understand it is what it is. And I can't change it and call it something else just because I want to label it and play spiritual metaphysics with it and try to alter its form or alter its shape when it really is what it is. So sometimes, I love the idea, when a dog is a dog, it just treats you the same way. And I want you to be able to treat life situations that pop up just like that. It is what it is. Get excited in the moment, take care of what's important, and then move on to the next thing. Have you ever noticed, and I've always had this thing, when Trey and I would travel, we would think about, our poor dogs, and we miss our dogs so much, and they must miss us so much. They must miss us so much. And one time we were in England, and we rushed home from England because we knew that our dogs were missing us so much. So we walk in the door, and they did their typical, oh my God, they're home, they're home, they're home. And then within 5 minutes, they're on the floor taking a nap. And you're like, wait a minute, We gave up 2 weeks of our vacation because we thought you missed us. And they just like, nope, here we go. That's what you get, and boom, you're gone. So the lesson for me was this. Sometimes I project myself into the way I want people to think and even my animals to think. But the reality is, what is. You can't create someone to be excited when they're not excited. You're going to get what you're going to get, and the response is going to be what it is. Like dogs, just like dogs, people are who they are. You either like them or you don't. I know some people are animal people in general, but I know a lot of people are dog people, or they're cat people, or they're a specific type of person who's attracted to that kind of animal. People are the same way. You either engage with them or you don't. You don't have to force yourself to like something that you don't like, right? So either you like them or don't. But to try and change them is like trying to change a dog into a cat. I can't do that. You can't change other people into being more of what you want. They are what they are. Now, you can communicate with them and you can express your needs, which I think is always the most valuable way to do that. But don't expect someone to change just because you ask them to. What I have found in my life and what I have found in doing counseling over the years, people are who they are. And they may change a little bit, but there's not too many great swings on that. There's a consistency with people, and we feel comfortable in those situations. We feel comfortable dealing with life and communicating the way we do. We are willing to alternate or change ways a little bit, but for the most part, we're pretty consistent. So don't try to change other people. You know, when your dog does something wrong, what do? You know? The dog, when your dog does something wrong, what do? I remember going, actually, it's always hard to catch a dog doing something wrong while they're doing it wrong. I always find them doing something wrong after the fact. And then you can't go back and discipline them because for them, their life has already moved on. Why can't we be more like a dog? If we make a mistake, just move on. If someone makes a mistake, you don't need to spend days, months, weeks, years, right? Hounding them about the mistakes that they've made. Move on. A dog just knows how to love. So it makes a mistake and then it turns around, wags its tail, and it's like back loving you again. Can you say the same about you in your life and about how other people are in your life? So ask yourself, when people do something wrong, do I really need to correct them for days, weeks, months, years? Or can I just say, it didn't work, move on. Be more like a dog. You know what? The dog doesn't even try to make you into a good master. It doesn't. The dog doesn't care. The dog just wants to be loved. Why do we have to have control over that? Why does someone need to feel the need that they need to program us to become something that we're not comfortable being programmed as? Just become more like the dog. Just don't worry about it. Don't take it to heart if someone says, I'm not willing to make a change. And when I say take it to heart, I say this. Just accept the fact that some people will not be willing to change or alter who they are or what they do just because you ask them to. They have to feel a connection to what that means. They have to feel a motivation, a sense of that it resonates with them. So you don't try to make that happen. It just has to happen organically. Picking out a person to have any type of relationship is pretty much the same process. When you're trying to pick out a person to be in relationship with, whether it's a friendship or an intimate relationship or whatever the dynamics are of the relationship, it's much the same. You don't have to force yourself into their world. In fact, what I have found is when people force themselves into someone else's world, they end up forcing themselves out. They end up getting out. They end up bailing out the ship. They end up jumping it because it doesn't make sense that I've got to keep pushing to make something happen. I've been of the mindset lately that if I have to keep pushing, I need to ask myself, why am I pushing for this? And why does it feel like it's pushing back? And is there a lesson in here that needs to be learned about me stepping back from the doorway? See, many times when people are always like, persevere and keep going and you don't give up. Well, you know what? Sometimes if you run into a door, if you think about this, if you run into a door, the door opens this direction, opens inward, and you keep pushing against the door, you're never going to get that door open. It's only when you take a step back and you actually open the door, then you can walk into something new. So if you find yourself pushing, and you find yourself pushing up against obstacles, you have to ask yourself, why am I pushing this? And is this push going to actually open the door, or is it only going to create more frustration for me and the other person on the other side of the door who's listening to my angst? Think about that. So when I talked about that, why can't I be more like a dog? Why can't you be more like a dog? Let's visit some criteria now for setting up successful relationships, right? What I love about my dog doesn't have an opinion. It can watch CNN all day long, and it doesn't have an opinion. Do I always have to be engaged with someone who has an opinion about something? Especially when it comes into this crazy world that we live in, do I always have to be engaged in a controversial conversation, or even with someone who thinks the way I do? Do we have to be talking about these things all the time? Not that you shouldn't have opinions and you shouldn't have feelings, but don't make them have the same ones that you have. Don't try to force someone to accept your opinion as their gospel. Just allow them to be who they are. But I love that. A dog doesn't have an opinion, it just knows how to love you. It doesn't know when you've had a bad day. It doesn't know when you had a good day. It just knows you're home. It's time to love on you, right? It doesn't have an opinion about what's going on in the world out there. It just knows when you're with it, it's happy. Why can't I be more like a dog? Why can't I be more like my dog and not worry about what's happening on the outside, but just be engaged in conversation, relationship, communication with whoever I'm with, and just allow myself to be in their presence without worrying about the outward conditions of things. Secondly, when you meet someone on some level, you begin to share that dream with the person. You're always one half of a relationship. Just remember that. Whenever I'm in a relationship with anyone, whether it's a friendship, relationship, intimate relationship, it doesn't matter. You're only one half, not only, but you're an important half, but you're half of the relationship. Not 51%, not 75%. You're 50% when you're in relationship with someone. When you think about being in a relationship like that, when you look at someone else, do you think of them as having 50%? Or are you trying to take over? Is there like a takeover activity, like a corporate takeover of someone and their emotions? You're 50%. You want to make people love you? You want to respect them as being half of this relationship. And what they bring to it is really important to what you bring to it, but just know that you're not any more or any less. You're 50% responsible for its communication, for its intimacy, for its love, for its affection. You're also 50% responsible for its dysfunction. And whenever something's happening, that you're part of the communication role that takes place in any relationship. So accept your 50% of what's going on. Many people have said to me, and I've done lots of counseling around relationships, they blame their spouses for the way things are. And I'm like, well, how did you approach it? How did you address this with them? Well, I didn't, because every time I brought it up, there was no communication around it. I said, so then you gave up. So part of your 50% gave up. Is that you? I know it's been me in past relationships where I've disengaged and went, you know what? Not even interested. My 50% has left the building. But when that happens, I have to deal with the fallout of leaving a committed relationship or friendship. I have to deal with that. I have to heal that, or else I continue to carry it with me, the baggage of that. And if I continue to carry around, I find myself moving from one relationship to the next that looks the same way that they do. And when something ticks me off, I'm out of here. There's no effort on my part to engage in conversation, to engage in the healing of something that could actually benefit me in the long term. I mean, you know when you need to leave something, but can you leave it in a nice way? Can you leave it in a kind way, a gentle way, a loving way? You know, I remember first time I heard about someone having a divorce ceremony. I thought, how cool is that? They sent out invitations like a wedding, and everybody came to a church. And in that church, they stood up and they had a minister, I would love to be that minister, who talked about dissolving this relationship in a loving way and bringing all of the participants, their family, their friends, to say, here we are, we're declaring that we loved each other, and now we're declaring that we're divorcing, we're no longer a couple, but we still respect each other, and we want you to know that, so that all those people never got involved in the drama of it. It was can you imagine a divorce blessing? Well, some people I know blessed as a divorce, but can you imagine a minister giving a divorce blessing, saying, hey, what a great idea. What a great idea. You don't have to leave angry. You don't have to. Even if the other person's 50% gave up and went out, or you're giving up and leaving up, or you're just not giving up, but you're allowing it to pass, you don't have to leave on a bad note. Respect the value of something that you had with someone, and then respect leaving it. That makes my heart sing. When I think about the people who are staying together because they love each other, I think about the people who leave each other because they love each other. It goes both ways. All right, next thing, don't pretend. You know what? It creates an illusion, and once you start it, you'll never end. Once you start pretending you're something you're not in the form of a relationship or in your job or whatever it is, the illusion never ends. In fact, you continue to build on that illusion until finally it's very hard to manage what you've said to people and what you've done. You have to be really authentic about that. So don't pretend, just know that you are in your right place and that you are doing whatever has to be done to move forward in a genuine and authentic way. And move forward like that. Don't pretend and put on airs or put on something that you're not, because eventually that facade will break down and you're going to find yourself on the other side of a conversation where your 50% wasn't real, wasn't factual, wasn't authentic, wasn't in integrity. If you want to be 50% of something that's holding up another 50% and taking and creating one thing, be very careful about how you represent that. You know what? If you see what I want, I love this. If you see what you want, why not take a risk? In today's world, in the way things are, if you see a chance to be happy, if you see an entrance to communicating with someone, even if it's on Zoom, however it is, if you see an entrance to happiness, you have to be willing to take the risk. You have to be willing to step out there. I think it was Dr. Arlene Bump. She was in Fort Lauderdale for a while, who said, you know, and Arlene, she would admit this, so it's not anything strange. Arlene was not, let's say, a very thin person. She was kind of very healthy. And so she would talk about going out on the skinny branch. And she said, it would scare the hell out of me because a woman of my size on a skinny branch, that's a very scary thought. And she said, but if I don't go out there in the skinny branch, I'll never know what's on the other end of it to get the fruit and enjoy whatever that is. You have to be willing to go out on the skinny branch and take the risk. Once you decide, here's what I have found. When you're going out on the skinny branch to take a risk, and once you make the first decision that you want to move into something, the universe hears that decision, hears you and your intention, right, and your action, and begins to conspire to create whatever it is you were going out on the skinny branch for. Until then, it just dangles on the end, and you have a longing. And you keep magnifying this longing because whatever you think about, you bring about. And if all you're doing is longing and never moving, you're magnifying the longing and not the moving. But as soon as you bust a move, as soon as you begin to say to the universe, I'm taking the first step, then steps 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 100, 1,000, they will begin to unfold. But you have to be willing to go out on the skinny branch and take the risk. It's necessary. Finally, last thing, trying to fit someone into your life that isn't compatible is like fitting into pants that are way too small and way too short. Have you ever tried to do that? Yeah, trying to fit someone into your life that doesn't, it's like putting on skinny jeans, honey, and this does not fit into skinny jeans. So, it's not gonna happen, and it's miserable. In fact, no matter how, it's terrible because I know this feeling where you're trying to stuff yourself into pants that you can't fit into anymore. It's kind of COVID related. But I just say to myself, why do you keep doing this? Buy a new set of pants. Get a new shirt. Let it go. And then the label changes. Oh my God, you know? My label changes. I'm like Oprah Winfrey. I've got small clothes, medium clothes, large clothes, extra large clothes, and I keep going the gambit. But I just realized relationships are the same way. Don't try to squeeze someone into a relationship that doesn't fit right. When you notice it doesn't fit, you have to walk away from it with love and safe passage and let them go. Don't try to force your way into it. It doesn't work, right? So, supporting someone when they're unhappy or sick and becoming unhappy and sick is not support. Remember that. When you are in a relationship and you are trying to to be we'll call it a spiritual leader in the relationship. If someone is unhappy and sick, you really need to be careful that you don't become that you allow yourself to support and be compassionate and empathetic with someone, but you don't become unhappy and sick with the person who's unhappy and sick. Same thing with addictions. You have to watch that. If you're with someone that's like that, you can't become that with them. You got to see the higher vision for themselves. I always say, when the blind lead the blind, you both end up in the ditch. Someone has to stay on the high side. Someone has to stay on the high side. Let that be you. Let you be the supporting mechanism, right? Let you be the one who's moving in that direction to say, look, I am here to love you and to support you just like you would, just like a dog would love you and support you if you had a bad day. Be there for that person, all right? I got this one. Keep being happy. Keep playing, and I will join you when I can enjoy your happiness. Right now, I need to be alone. I put that in there for this reason. There are times when mentally, I just know this, there are times mentally when you're in a different headspace than the people that may be around you. And what I've had to learn and what I try to convey to people is, don't take it personally if I just need some space. I just need space. It has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with me, right? Sometimes we just need our space. And I think about how our dogs, this is the talk about my dogs. Every time my dog needs its space, it does this strange little ritual, which I know is some sort of a inherent thing. It gets up and it walks around a circle like 3 times, and then it plops down. But it's like creating its space and telling everybody around it, this is my space, and I just need to rest here. It's okay to do that. The other dogs don't go, oh wow, he's in my space. She's in my space. They just accept the fact that that's their space. Why can't I be more like my dog? If I need my space, why can't you treat me like my dog? And if you need your space, why can't I just treat you like a dog and go, hey, not like a dog, but treat you and say, look, this is where you're at. Take your space, take your time. I don't need to force this. Take what you need and want and desire. I don't need to take it personally because I may not be the number one thing on your agenda. That's the ego speaking in relationships. If you think you have to be the number one person on the agenda all the time, that is not about caring and loving. That is about me. And it's not about the 50% that we're talking about, all right? Understand this, when in relationships, understanding the wounded mind, everyone has unhealed conditions. I don't know anyone that doesn't, right? Keep in mind that we all have something that needs to be healed from our past. And that it's not my job to heal you, it's my job to support you while you're healing. Okay? My job in a relationship is not to heal you, but to support you while you figure it out. Now, we can have discussions and communication around it. You can, however you choose to, accumulate that kind of information so that you can disseminate within your mind and embody it and become it. That's all up to you. But I can support you on the journey, but there are times in our lives when you need to lead your own parade to happiness and health. It's not up to me to be the drum major of the band. You have to lead that for yourself. Keep that in mind. You're 50%. When you're in a relationship with someone else, you're 50% of its happiness or its misery. You don't need someone else to lead your 50%. You need to be the leader of your own healing so you can create a healed and harmonious 50% that's entering into, even if it's a friendship or relationship, whatever that is. All right? So, just understand this. When we take the risk, we take responsibility for a new agreement. When we walk out and we take the risk to be in relationships, right, whatever they may be, even if it's a relationship by getting a new dog, remember this? Even if it's a relationship of accumulating a little puppy or a rescue dog, whatever that is, when you take the risk but whenever you do that, you take responsibility for the agreement that you've entered into with that person or even that other dog, right? We enter into agreements with relationships. Keep those sacred, and remember, Keep your commitments that you make when you're in the relationship. Make sure that you have discussions, open discussions about how your relationship is valued, how you look at certain things within the guidelines of your relationship, how you perceive things, and how you want to attract new things into your relationships. But when you take the risk, you take the responsibility, and you enter into that new agreement, right? Last thing, heal your half and you're gonna find happiness. Why can't I be more like my dog? Because you know what? There are times I just can't find the happiness that my dog has because it's not carrying around all of its past experiences. It just knows how to be there and how to love, right? I want to be more like my dog. I really do. I want you to be more like that so that you can actually have that unconditional love and flavor and taste for life. That you can look at something so simple like, I think of my dog. They just take a ball, throw the ball. They are happy as could be. It doesn't take any technology. It doesn't take any more than just taking some sort of activity and jumping into it. I want to be more like that. It becomes more and more sophisticated as the world goes on, but there's a simplicity to that exists. The simplicity is, I just want to be more like that. I want to be more unconditionally loving. I want to be that person who just is so excited when somebody walks into a room. I'm ready to be that, and I'm stepping into that as my responsibility in relationships. Have a great Sunday, and so ends your lesson.
And now I would like for you to join me in a closing prayer. As we just open ourselves up and just bathe in that wonderful spiritual inspiration that we received, just to settle into the rest of our day, knowing that something changed for the better, a shift in consciousness, a realization that sets ourselves free to live life in a higher level. And so as I recognize that one power and presence that is spirit, that is everywhere present, always alive, always right there to be lived into, is within all beings, I recognize that one I call spirit is within my heart and soul. It is everything that I am. And so what I know for myself, I know for everybody who is listening to this prayer, that goodness is now unfolding for all of us. In whatever way we choose to experience it, it is demonstrating through everything, through perfect health, through joy, through financial prosperity, through creativity, for wholeness and wellness. And so I know as we take the wisdom of spirit that has been given to us today, we apply it, we embody it, we live it so we can enjoy life to the fullest. And so knowing that we are all blessed all the time to be together, to be reminded of our spiritual truth, that everything is unfolding absolutely perfectly as we move into our week with joy in our hearts. So knowing that everything is set free now for us to live life fully, completely in the energy of spirit, I am knowing right now that everything is in tune to make life its best, its greatest good, its enlightenment that allows us to be who we are. And so with gratitude in my heart for what is unfolding for everyone this week, knowing it is all good, I release my word now as law, knowing it is done, and so it is. Have a great week. Enjoy.